The United States has officially entered the war between Israel and Iran, unleashing a coordinated military operation that struck three of Iran's most critical nuclear facilities, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, in the early hours of Sunday morning. This unprecedented move marks a major escalation, as the U.S. for the first time has directly inserted itself into Israel's campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear infrastructure. President Donald Trump, addressing the nation from the White House, declared that the nuclear sites were completely and fully obliterated, issuing a stark warning to Tehran that any retaliatory moves would invite a response with precision, speed, and skill far more devastating than anything seen thus far. Trump stated bluntly, "There will either be peace or there will be tragedy for Iran, far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days." Iran's Atomic Energy Organization confirmed that the Fordo enrichment site, the Natanz facility, and the Isfahan complex were all struck, but claimed that their nuclear program would continue uninterrupted. The decision to launch direct U.S. strikes followed more than a week of intensive Israeli bombardments targeting Iran's missile systems, air defense networks, and nuclear infrastructure, which Israeli officials claim significantly weakened Iran's ability to defend its most sensitive facilities. American and Israeli military planners determined that Israel lacked the capability to destroy Iran's deeply buried nuclear bunkers, and that only the U.S., with its fleet of B-2 stealth bombers and the massive 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator bomb, could successfully hit the fortified sites. Trump confirmed via social media that the operation was a success, stating that a full payload of bombs was dropped on Fordo, and all aircraft exited Iranian airspace safely. He later added, "This is an historic moment for the United States of America, Israel, and the world. Iran must now agree to end this war. Thank you." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video message praising Trump's bold leadership, saying, "Your decision to strike Iran's nuclear sites with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history." Netanyahu emphasized that only America had the firepower and political will to deliver such a decisive blow. Though the White House and Pentagon have yet to release the full operational details, Fox News host Sean Hannity reported that he had spoken directly to Trump, who confirmed 6 bunker-buster bombs hit Fordo, while 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles, launched from U.S. submarines stationed 400 miles away, destroyed targets at Natanz and Isfahan. The implications of this action are enormous. Iran had repeatedly warned that U.S. intervention in support of Israel would trigger a regional war, and Trump's move has drawn intense international concern. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the situation as a dangerous escalation and warned that the conflict could rapidly spiral out of control, threatening civilian lives and regional stability. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, just days prior, had issued a stark warning that any U.S. strike would result in irreparable damage to American interests, while Iranian foreign ministry officials warned that direct involvement from the U.S. would ignite an all-out war. Trump, who once campaigned on avoiding foreign entanglements, had previously hesitated, opting instead for diplomatic outreach to Tehran in an attempt to resolve the nuclear issue peacefully. But after 2 months of fruitless negotiations and under pressure from Netanyahu and Republican lawmakers, Trump abandoned the diplomatic route and chose military action. According to senior officials, the Israeli military's recent strikes had already neutralized key components of Iran's air defense systems, paving the way for a U.S. airstrike with minimal risk to American pilots. To take out the deeply entrenched Fordo facility, Israeli officials specifically requested the use of the GBU-57 bomb, currently the only weapon capable of penetrating 200 feet of reinforced earth and concrete. Dropped in succession, these bombs can drill deeper and deeper with each strike before delivering a massive conventional explosion designed to destroy underground targets. The strike on Fordo marked the first known combat use of the GBU-57, a weapon so powerful that it raised fears among international nuclear watchdogs about the possibility of radioactive contamination. The International Atomic Energy Agency has confirmed that Iran has been producing highly enriched uranium at Fordo. Previous Israeli attacks on sites like Natanz had caused localized contamination, but a hit on Fordo with bunker busters could release nuclear materials more broadly. Trump's decision to abandon diplomacy came after multiple delays. Twice this year, in April and May, he convinced Netanyahu to hold off on striking Iran in order to give negotiations more time. But when Iran refused to halt its uranium enrichment activities, and with regional tensions at a breaking point, the Trump administration opted to act. Over the past several weeks, the U.S. had already repositioned military assets, including stealth aircraft and warships, across the Middle East to support both defensive and offensive operations in anticipation of Iran's response. Meanwhile, Iran's allies, including the Houthi rebels in Yemen, have warned of renewed attacks on U.S. naval assets in the Red Sea if the United States continues to back Israel militarily. The Houthis had previously paused their operations under a deal with Washington, but the strike on Iranian soil has all but shattered that agreement. As the situation deteriorates, the U.S. ambassador to Israel confirmed that Washington has initiated assisted departure flights to evacuate American citizens, marking the first such effort since the October 7th Hamas-led attack that began the current wave of violence in Gaza. Trump, for his part, appears undeterred by criticism from within his own political base, including figures like Tucker Carlson, who accused him of betraying his anti-war promises. Responding to Iranian threats, Trump issued another warning, stating, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but we are not going to take him out, at least not for now." This confrontation comes 7 years after Trump pulled the U.S. out of the landmark 2015 Iran nuclear deal brokered under the Obama administration, which had placed limits on Iran's enrichment capacity in exchange for lifting sanctions. Trump had long condemned that agreement as weak and ineffective, insisting it failed to address Iran's broader regional aggression. Now, with diplomacy having failed and military conflict underway, the Middle East teeters on the edge of a wider war, and the world holds its breath as events unfold.